Ramadava Kunja Bihari Jaya Ramadava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Raja Janarandana Yashodanandana Raja Janarandana Yashodanandana Raja Janarandana Yashodanandana Raja Janarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Ramadava Kunja Bihari Jaya Ramadava Kunja Bihari Jaya Ramadava Kunja Bihari Jaya Ramadava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Shri Radhamadava Ki Jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhuttare Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswate Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nivishishishunavati Pastatya Vasicharine Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we are reading today from 6th Canto, chapter 19, 6, 14 to 18. And I'll just recite the first 3 ones, and then we recite 18 together. Yatayamam trilokasya vardau paramistinau tatanma uttama shloka santu satyamaha shisha. You are both the supreme rulers and benedictors of the 3 worlds. Therefore, my Lord, Uttama Shloka, may my ambitions be fulfilled by your grace. Ichapistuya varatam srinivasam shariyasaha tamme sayopaharanam tatvacha manam achate. Sri Shukadeva Goswami continued, thus one should worship Lord Vishnu, who is known as Srinivas, along with Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, by offering prayers according to the process mentioned above. After removing all the paraphernalia of worship, one should offer them water to wash their hands and mouths, and then one should worship them again. Tatastu vitastu tarena bhakti pravena khetasa yagyochistamava avakaraya puna apyachayatarim. Thereafter, with devotion and humility, one should offer prayers to the Lord and Mother Lakshmi. Then one should smell the remnants of food offered, and then again worship the Lord and Lakshmi. Patincha paraya pacha mahapurusha chetasa priyaistaistayupanamet prema shila swayam piti vipyartsakamani patnya ucha vachanicha. Accepting her husband as the representative of the Supreme Person, a wife should worship him with unalloyed devotion by offering him prasad. The husband, being very pleased with his wife, should engage himself in the affairs of his family. There's a small parable here. The family relationship of a husband and wife should be established spiritually according to the process mentioned above. And then, okay, so now we have verse 18, so please repeat. Kritam ekatarena. Oh, I forgot we should also. Oh no, first verse. Yeah, okay. Api dampatyo upayo api padnyam kuryat anahayam pati etat samahita kritam ekatarenapi kritam ekatarenapi dampatyo upayo api dampatyo upayo api padnyam kuryat anahayam padnyam kuryat anahanam patietat samahitaha patietat samahitaha. Please chant.
Kritam ekatarenapi dampatyo upayorapi padnyam kuryat anahayam patietat samahita. Kritam ekatarenapi dampatyo upayorapi padnyam kuryat anahayam patietat samahita.
Kritam ekatarenapi dampatyorupayorapi padnyam kuryat anahayam patietat samahita.
Kritam, executed.
execute,
ikatarena, by one, api, even, dampatyo, of the wife and husband, upayo, of both, api, still, patnyam, with the wife, kurya, he should execute, anahayam, is unable, pati, the husband, etat, this, samahita, with attention. Translation. Between the husband and wife, one person is sufficient to execute this devotional service. Because of their good relationship, both of them will enjoy the result. Therefore, if the wife is unable to execute this process, the husband should carefully do so, and the faithful wife will share the result. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. The relationship between husband and wife is firmly established when the wife is faithful and the husband sincere. Then, even if the wife, being weaker, is unable to execute devotional service with her husband, if she is chaste and sincere, she shares half of her husband's activities. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksuram Mritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Tatam Yamano Bhistam Stavitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Katamayam Dadati Svapatantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantara Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Risabhanu Sutadevi Pranami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyaivacha Panditanam Bhavabhyo Vaishnavyo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I forgot to chant the invocation, so Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Hare Krishna. So we take the last verse again. Kritamikatarena pi tampajyo upayo api patnyam koyatanahayam patiye tatsamahita. Translation. Between the husband and wife, one person is sufficient to execute this devotional service. Because of their good relationship, both of them will enjoy the result. Therefore, if the wife is unable to execute this process, the husband should carefully do so, and the faithful wife will share the result. So, in these verses, talks a little about Grihastha Ashram and how that is executed. I don't know a whole lot about Grihastha Ashram, but just this week in Lithuania, me and Madhavasraya, we witnessed a most auspicious ceremony in Lithuania, where one brahmachari, he entered the Grihastha Ashram with the initiated Matsaki, and there was a whole Vedic ritual and very, very beautiful marriage performance. And the parents were there of both couples, and they very much enjoyed it. You can see on their faces that they were quite impressed with the whole cultural aspect of Krishna consciousness. So one may think that most of us here, we are living as brahmacharis and are not engaging in Grihastha Ashram. So one may think that if someone chooses to leave the Grihastha Ashram, or chooses to leave the brahmachari ashram and enter Grihastha Ashram, one may consider that a fall down and therefore think, I shall not participate in this ceremony, rather I shall boycott it and I will instead go on Harinam and do some beneficial things for Krishna. So one could have this mentality, but and actually there were some brahmacharis in Lithuania who had this mentality, who thought, oh, this seems to be Maya, so we better boycott the thing and go on Harinam. And they were very much chastised for this by Vishnupriya Mataji and Sriman Sankashanta Sadhikari, who mentioned this as being niyamagraha, like you unnecessarily accept too many rules without really understanding the purpose of why you are accepting them. Because in the Krishna consciousness movement, we are trying to establish the Vedic culture again here on the planet. And Vedic culture means Varnashram Dharma, and Varnashram Dharma means that you have 4 ashrams and you have 4 varnas. And one of the ashrams is of course Grihastha ashram. So for that to be established, there needs to be brahmacharis who then enter the Grihastha ashram. So that is quite natural. And therefore, we should not condemn these people who enter Grihastha ashram, but instead we should encourage them that they remain under the shelter of the spiritual authorities and engage in Krishna service in that way, and like try to dovetail their material desires so they can outlive their material desires, but in a Krishna conscious way, and in that way make the whole Vaishnava community stronger, because like all parts of the Varnashram system needs to be there in order for it to be fully functional. So actually this establishment of Vedic culture, that is very, very great preaching, because most of the people out there, they will like think, monk? Not me, that's not going to happen, I'm not going to be a monk. Because they have many material desires, and like to drop it all together would simply be too much for many people. Therefore, Grihastha ashram is there to facilitate the material desires in a Krishna conscious fashion. So in Lithuania they have a very, very nice and complete yatra, which are all like cooperating, and you see different aspects. People who come, they see, oh, there's people practicing in this way and that way, and so maybe there's also a room for me, because this whole community seems to be so like complete. So we are still just in the beginning stages here in Denmark. We're lagging a little behind, but so in order to establish Vedic culture and to establish a strong yatra, there needs to be some preaching output. We need to introduce people to Krishna consciousness, and how do we do that? Well, Srila Prabhupada, he made up this genius transcendental plot, this transcendental scheme of how to introduce Krishna consciousness by distributing books, and in that way, at the same time, collecting money for the maintenance of the temples and establishment of Vedic centers, and that way we have the benefit of preaching, people they become attracted, and in the same time we can maintain and we can expand. But then what is preaching? Because there's external activity and there's internal activity. That we may go out with some books, or we may go out with the holy name, or with prasadam, or like, so in that way we offer Krishna consciousness to people. But the internal thing is a most important aspect. If we consider what we are actually doing, then if we are in knowledge of what we are doing, the devotional service, what is the nature of that devotional service we are actually performing, then we will naturally become quite enthusiastic, because actually if you think about it, it's quite amazing. For example, book distribution. We have in the spiritual world, we have very, very elevated souls who are completely in love with Krishna, and they have different games, like sometimes they carry Krishna on their shoulders and run here and run there, and sometimes Krishna carries them, and there's so much personal interaction. So if one decides to take some books under his arms and go out on the street and try to introduce people to Krishna consciousness, that's actually in a way the same activity as carrying Krishna on your shoulders. Because we read that Srimad Bhagavatam, that's the literary incarnation of Krishna. And Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna himself, and it's not different from Krishna. So in that way, if you carry Krishna on the arm or on the shoulders, there's not much of a difference. You're carrying Krishna, and you are introducing people to Krishna. And you say, hello, you seem like a very nice person. Please, this is Krishna. Krishna, he just wants to be loved. Will you please love Krishna? And we have this mentality that, wow, the Vaishnavas, they are so merciful. How can rascal number one, like me, that slimy, filthy, lying, cheating, manipulating, cruel-hearted, merciless fool, arrogant, and all these bad qualities that we probably become, most of us become victimized by in the age of Kali when we're not in the association of devotees. We have so many bad qualities which we carry on from our previous activities. So how can a fool like me, fool number one, be engaged in this most elevated service of carrying around Krishna and introducing people to Krishna? That is simply by the mercy of the Vaishnavas. So by the mercy of the Vaishnavas we can do this wonderful service, and knowing them, that should make us very happy. So we will run around with Krishna all day, with Krishna on the arm, and trying to introduce people to Krishna. And if someone, they reacts favorably, then what do we do? Do we think, hey, I am very great, now I have distributed so many books, it's very nice, very big Vaishnava? Or do we think, wow, amazing how the spiritual master is showering me with his mercy, that I may be able, by his mercy, to do this. So I simply beg that he may continue to shower his mercy upon me, so that more souls, they will be introduced to Krishna. So if we have this mood of honest humility, what is going to stop us? Because if we are actually humble, then Krishna, he wants the souls to be connected with him. That's his desire as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wants to deliver everyone. But those of us who are practicing Krishna consciousness out of the conditioned souls, he takes special interest in us. And one of the special interests is that he wants us to remain humble. So if we will become very proud, if we get a very nice result, then Krishna, he will not give us the result. But if we are humble, no matter the result, then why should he not give a result? So in that way, if we are really Krishna conscious, if we know what we are doing when we're doing it, then we will naturally become very ecstatic and very enlightened. And then Krishna consciousness will spread like anything, and people, they will become very attracted. In the same way, when we are on Harinam, or when we are on Vegetarian Saturday, when we chant Hare Krishna on the street, do we think, oh, maybe I will run into some of my old friends, or maybe even an old girlfriend, or like someone who might like laugh at my current behavior and think, hey, this is weird. And we might be nervous or think, hey, maybe people, they will not throw anything in the donation box, or maybe they will laugh and point their fingers. That may be our consciousness. So if we sit in that like intimidated position and we chant Hare Krishna, it will not be very effective. But if we think, hey, here we are, and Krishna, he is manifesting himself as his Nama Avatara, as his holy name. And there are so many conditioned souls out here, and they can all receive the mercy simply by coming in contact with the holy name. Therefore we vibrate the holy name of the Lord with great enthusiasm, and while we're doing it, we try to beg Krishna to be present in the sound vibration, so that it may carry spiritual potency to enter into the hearts of the conditioned souls and actually uproot the sinful mentality so that they can take to Krishna consciousness. In the same way, like if we are in the kitchen doing service, we might just be cutting vegetables and we think, hey, this is just another day. I'm just doing what I'm doing. Or do we think, hey, maybe this one special soul will be a guest today in the lunch, or maybe even coming during morning prasadam as a special surprise. So while we cut the vegetables very efficiently, the external activity is going on, and internally we pray, Krishna, please, by your sweet lips, please empower this prasad to be so spiritually potent that it may completely make a revolution in the heart of whoever tastes it. And if that is our continuous mood, and also in the kirtan, we sing and we dance in ecstasy, just trying to please HG Gaura Nitai. If in that way we just fill the whole temple up with Krishna Prem, with love of God, then as soon as we open the door to the temple and we go out to preach, then that love of Prem who is building up in the temple will spill out in the streets like a tsunami, inundating the entire Copenhagen with love of Godhead. So in that way we may be just a small little temple, but the weapons Srila Prabhupada have given us, they carry very, very great spiritual potency, so we should be very expert in utilizing them properly. There was one verse that I would like to quote as an inspiration for our practice of Krishna consciousness and how blissful it can actually be. How is this again, this meter? Tunde tandavani ratim vitanute, tundavali laptai, kana krota katam vinikitayate, kana budepya spriham, cheta prangana sangini vijayate, savendariyanam kriti, no jane janita kiyat priyamritai, Krishna Divana Tavi. This is Rupa Goswami, and he's saying, I do not know how much nectar the two syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of years. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become completely inert. So in that way, that's quite amazing. Even if our religion is maybe just, we want to enjoy life, that is our religion. That's the religion of the people, they want to enjoy life. But if they knew, and if we knew, how much nectar was there in the names of Krishna, how would we change our japa? We may taste some very good prasadam, but do we ever think, wow, this prasadam is so amazing, I desire to have millions of mouths so I can taste more of it, or when we hear beautiful music. But the nature of Krishna's name is like that it carries so much nectar that you cannot comprehend it. And if we don't feel that, then that's because we are covering over the taste by making offenses. And yeah, so we are missing out. There's a lot more nectar to be gained if we come to a more pure stage of chanting Krishna's name, if we chant with attention and with love and with devotion. So, but until then, we can just try to realize the presence of Krishna in his names, or at least fix our mind upon the names, and in that way get rid of our offenses and come to a stage of chanting with love. And then when we chant with love, we can internally have